was a rumble in the jungle. Once I heard Dad was outside again counting birds, and Mama plugged in a nightlight, and I saw the queen of the world.
Hello and welcome to the Golden Hour Birth Podcast. I am your co-host Liz.
And I'm your co-host Natalie. And today, recording in the midday, we have Kaitlin from Long Island, New York on, and she is joining us from her home and going to tell us a little bit about her company, BeHerVillage. Thanks so much for coming on tonight, Kaitlin.
Thank you. Today, whatever. What day or year is it? Thank you both so much. I am so thrilled to have connected and to have this opportunity to share my story. And I love that I'm not the first person from Long Island to be on this podcast. That's really exciting.
Yeah. Oh, our Katie girl that shared her story. Shout out to her. So Kaitlin, if you want to go ahead and just tell us a little bit about how BeHerVillage started.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I was a public school teacher in New York City. I was a special ed teacher, and I had no intention of doing anything in the maternal care space. I just fell in love with my para, was the teacher's assistant. I married him, and I was like, I need to make babies with you. And they were just
oh my God. I love this.
It was a little scandalous at the time. It felt scandalous. Now it's we've been married for a billion years, it feels like. But yeah, I was not thinking I was going to do any of this. But then I had my first baby. And like many of the people that have been called into doula work, like many of the people that care really a lot about helping improve the experience of becoming a mother, I had a negative experience. I had it varies on the day. It's from underwhelming to traumatic. I had a really sort of rough entry into motherhood. And there's this one moment that's so clear to me where I was 3 days postpartum and I was in my nursery trying to figure out how to breastfeed my son. It was not going well. Trying to figure out how to get us both ready for a pediatrician's appointment. No idea. He wouldn't let me put him down. He was like a quote unquote high needs baby. Turns out it was ADHD, but that's another podcast altogether. And I was surrounded by all the things. I was surrounded by the beautiful, generous gifts that I got from my friends and family and colleagues at my baby shower. And I felt just this unbelievable moment, this intersection of how I had spent my time preparing for my baby, which was with the baby shower, with the registry, with what do I need? What does the baby need? What's the best stroller? What's the best this, and reading reviews and selecting these things. And then I was sitting there just alone, and just everything was hard. I don't know. This picture of motherhood I want to paint for anyone. And it also wasn't the picture I had expected for myself. And the juxtaposition of that loneliness and that feeling like I needed something more, needing support, needing help breastfeeding, needing someone to hold my baby so I could take a shower and get myself ready for the doctor versus what I actually had, which was all of the things for the baby, really stuck with me. And it's part of how I got called into doula work. And it's then in doing doula work, how I realized that, I was not alone. I'm not to blame for that. I had the same experience almost everybody has when they become a mother, where we get all the stuff and we're told to think a lot about stuff. We're told that from all the marketing. We're told that from our friends and family. We're told that sort of as the American tradition is to have the baby shower and get the stuff. And I noticed that that's sort of what everyone's going through, this moment of feeling alone, this moment of not actually having what we as mothers needed. And so I created BeHerVillage, which is a gift registry that reimagines the baby shower gift as support for the mother, as support for the parents. And on BeHerVillage, you can register for and receive funds to pay for breastfeeding support, to pay for postpartum care, to pay for meals, to pay for pelvic floor PT, to pay for your doula, to get some childbirth education beforehand, for massages, for photographers, literally anything that cares for the mother. And, the list goes on because we need and want and quite frankly deserve all of that care. There's so much care that we need in this transformation. It's a beautiful time. and it's a hard time, and it's like a time of expansiveness and love and vulnerability, and it deserves to be honored in that way. And the thing that I've found, and part of what excites me about BeHerVillage is like there's so much generosity in our communities, in our families. Like, who doesn't get excited about a baby coming? It's so exciting. And we all have this like urge to open up our wallets and attend the baby shower and celebrate this new mother and this new little one. But the ways that we've been told to do it are really, really material focused, stuff focused, and baby focused in a way that completely ignores the mother. And so we're not saying you don't need stuff, but we're saying, hey, if you want to also support the mother and if you want to also get care for yourself to the new mothers, then head to BeHerVillage and find your support team. Shop for your doulas, shop for your postpartum care at the same time that you're shopping for strollers and car seats. And yeah, it's sort of like a total reimagining of what the baby shower could look like. And it's all born from that moment, my recliner, which I was naked, by the way, on the podcast, which the way I tell that story, I feel like this is a safe place. I was naked. I was trying to shower. I was like trying to get, I don't know, how do you shower? And I was 3 days post C-section. How do you shower and breastfeed? And I was trying to do it all by myself. And so it was a really, it was a difficult moment that I'm now grateful for, because it has sort of led me into this work of supporting mothers and shifting something about how this happens so that the next mother is better prepared.
Yeah. Wow.
That's so cool.
Yeah,
like
that is so cool.
Like a service-based shower.
Yeah, totally.
That's so cool.
It's sort of like how the traditional wedding shower is like 12 plate settings or whatever of china and all of the things for your house. And I like immediately returned because I lived in a tiny apartment in New York City. But it's like that. And now there's like Honey Fund, right? So Honey Fund is like you can get a candlelit dinner, couples massage, or all these things on your honeymoon. It's like that. It's like you don't have to have only a support shower. You don't only have to have a BeHerVillage gift registry. But it is absolutely part of what we should be thinking about as we celebrate ourselves. But there's also this other component too, because if you've ever tried to shop for a stroller or a crib, it's actually pretty easy. Like we could log on right now to Amazon or Target or Walmart or Buy Baby and like get reviews and see what's available and see their pricing and click, pay and deliver. And it'll be, if with Amazon on Long Island, we have an Amazon factory, it could be here in like 2 hours. Seriously, it's amazing. Very amazing. But shopping for and knowing what you even might need and knowing even what exists is a whole burden. And the burden falls on mothers. It falls on them to like in the midst of, usually when they're in crisis, like figuring out what help is available, trying to find them. It's very word of mouth. It's like you go to Facebook groups and you ask your friend who knows a doula. So, it's like this, there's not one place to go where you can find all of the care in your community, in your own neighborhood, in your own quote unquote village. And that's what we're doing with BeHerVillage is we've created this place where all of the birth workers can add their services for free. All the lactation consultants in an area, all the chiropractors, all the doulas can add themselves and we have 1,400 practitioners that are on our site right now across the country. And they can be found by parents who are shopping for support because we need it to be easy, where you can see who's available, see what their pricing is, and get in touch with them all in one spot in just a few minutes.
Yeah, that's amazing. I had a good friend who's pregnant and she was just like, tell me like, what do I need? What's like a must have that you found? And I'm just kind of sitting here like, I mean, like, yeah, I have these items, but are they like, life or death kind of thing? No, it's just a nice thing that I've gotten. So that's amazing to actually hear like pregnancy massages. I could have used one of those every single day.
Oh my God, I could use one of those right now and I'm not even It's like postpartum doula. It's like people will be like, what's a postpartum doula? And I describe it. And if anyone's curious, it's like a fairy godmother that comes and just makes everything better for you. They clean, they take care of babies, they take care of you, help you breastfeed. And I'm like, and people are always like, can I just have that now? And I'm like, I know. My youngest is 7 and I'm like, I would still sign up for a postpartum doula. And technically we're postpartum forever. So it counts.
Forever. Yes. Yeah. I wish this was like 2 years ago almost, because I was like just preparing for my first baby and just would have been like amazing knowledge.
Yeah. Well, the cool thing is too, so we talk a lot about at BeHerVillage about the $12 billion that are spent each year on baby shower gifts and baby gifts.
Mm-hmm.
And the interesting thing is, like, I've always sort of imagined that we're redirecting those funds, that we're taking those monies and putting them into our maternal care industry and the birth worker industry. And we're helping parents like sort of get those funds in a different way. But what I'm realizing now is like the people who are using BeHerVillage, a lot of them are first-time moms, but a lot of them are second, third, fourth, fifth, and so on moms. And what's cool is that those people like might not get anything, or they might just get like baby clothes or something. Like they might not be getting that support, but now they're making BeHerVillage registries because they get it. They get it more than the people who understand BeHerVillage faster, the moms who have been there, done that, and they have sat in that recliner looking at all their baby gifts, thinking, oh my God, isn't that what I need? And so it's really cool to sort of like think about that we might actually be creating a whole new way of celebrating mothers. And when you shift that focus from like the baby to the mother, it's sort of taboo to like have more than one baby shower. People love to judge moms for so many things. But when we shift the conversation to like, well, we're not preparing for the baby, we're supporting the mother through this birth and postpartum, then it becomes an opportunity to celebrate every single time, which is pretty cool. So all that to say, just use us for your next one.
Yeah.
If there is a one at any point.
Yeah. It's funny because when I had, I threw Natalie her sprinkle for her second baby, just, she just had her, how old is she now? 8 weeks, 10 weeks.
But yeah, 10 weeks.
When I asked you like,
in it.
Oh yeah.
I'm in it.
When I asked her like, what do you want me to put on the invitation for, like, no gifts? Are you going to have a registry? Like, what would you want? She was like, just ask people to give me gift cards to restaurants. Like, that is the greatest idea. Like,
that's it. I mean, that's the thing, because you don't need anything for the baby.
No.
Even when you have your second, I remember for my second, my mother-in-law was like, can we have a sprinkle? And I was like, nope, I don't want any more stuff. I just like cannot imagine another baby item being in my house, because I was already feeling like it was too much. And I just had the one baby. I think I bought like a new ring sling and a car seat. That was the entirety of my purchase for my second baby. And if this existed, I would have in a heartbeat said, yeah, absolutely. Like, fund my postpartum care. Absolutely. I would love a sprinkle. Let's celebrate me, But there's this, I think a lot of us say no to those celebrations because of that issue of like, we don't want more stuff. Stuff is stressful for many of us. I'm sure like people can relate to this. I like literally, and I don't know that my husband totally gets it. Like, I am calmer when the counters are clean. Like, it's just like, when the counters have things on them, it's stressful. And like, when babies and toddlers are moving about our house, it's wonderful that we have this like opportunity to create this place for them to play and explore and be. But they just sort of leave this little trail of destruction. No matter how minimalist you are, there's just a trail of destruction. And I remember every night, like when we would get the kids down and we could like put things in their baskets in the various corners of our living space, it would just, there's something so calming about having that clutter be gone. And that's part of what feels good too about talking about preparing for parenthood in a way that doesn't take over your home, in a way that doesn't overwhelm us. Stuff requires work. Stuff requires thought. The amount of guilt that moms have for registering for and or just receiving gifts of things that they then have to go return, the guilt, the chore that creates for them, like it's so much more than just a gift, and when we think as gift buyers about like how we want to support the new parent, none of us, we would be horrified to know that our gift cost someone angst. We would be horrified to know that our gift cost them a chore with a 2-week-old. Like that's never the intention. And yet how it lands on us is different. And so with a BeHerVillage gift, you're sort of giving this money towards an intentional thing that relieves stress. And you can know 100% of the time it's relieving stress because it's giving them the power to create the postpartum and the birth experience and the prenatal experience that they want for themselves. It's it's pretty cool in that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is.
That's so amazing. This girlfriend of mine is getting a text message right after this episode.
Love it. I love it.
Amazing. Yeah, we've been cleaning out our storage unit from when we moved, and it's just full of kid baby stuff. And so I'm like, well, we can sell some of it. I'm selling stuff on Facebook Marketplace, which is a nightmare. People will be like, is it still available? And I'm like, yep. And then never hear from them again. So we're like,
yeah,
you know what? We're just putting it on the buy nothing group. I've given so much stuff away on the buy nothing group that somebody could open a baby store probably.
Yeah. Yeah. And you look at that and it's like each one of those things, like if it was like $30 for whatever gadget, like I now am like that was a postpartum hour. Like I could have had a doula in my house.
Yeah, that's
like,
true.
That was like so much care for me that burden. Oh my God, selling on Facebook Marketplace. And then there's the people that are like, give me the dimensions, give me this. I'm like, here's the picture of it. I can't do any more work. I love that you just said that. I do the same thing. I just give things away because I can't handle the back and forth and the trying to have people come at a certain time. And then please hold it for me. I mean, it's like, it becomes this whole job that that stuff creates work in a way that's stressful. And the other thing that just sort of popped into my head is how temporarily we need all of these things. Because there probably was use for some of these things for us to have it and put it away. Most of it, maybe, the stuff we haven't returned. But it's so temporary. The babies move through these stages so quickly. Their development is one of the coolest things. I totally was shocked as a mother to see this little cute, adorable blob that I was fiercely protective of, just from hormones alone. It had nothing to do with anything, just fierce protectiveness. And then to watch them sort of layer their skills and become this person that's now talking and walking, it's incredible. But they move so quickly through these things that you don't really get a huge amount of impact, even from the stuff that you use. Versus think about how visceral the memory of your birth is. Think about them. For me, that moment of sitting in my recliner, trying to get myself ready for the baby, the first pediatrician's appointment and being alone and struggling, that was almost 11 years ago. And I'm telling you right now, it feels like it was yesterday. I'm in the room. I remember everything about it. And it's so impactful. It imprinted on me. And it the way I felt, the struggle, the anxiety, the feeling of being lost, the feeling of blaming myself for not being properly prepared, that all colored my entry into motherhood. So when we're giving a gift of support, it's so much more than just a cool gift. It's something that lasts for a really long time, if not forever, because it stays in our memories, and it also impacts how we mother our babies. When we're well supported, we're connecting with them, right? We're able to show up for our babies in a really different way than when we're drowning.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, for instance, a bassinet, I got one from our other sister-in-law, and then I ended up using Liz's for 2 weeks. And I'm I'm happy I didn't get a bassinet. And then my sister got me one for our second baby, and I used it for 5 weeks. And I'm now I'm ready to pass it along or just put it in the basement until we have another one. I don't know.
Yeah. I never really understood the bassinet. I had one. Somebody put one in my house. I don't remember. I have yet to well, I have this in my basement. Here's a bassinet. And you sort of especially as a first time mom, but even each time it's okay, I trust you that you know what I'm going to need here. There's this trust that someone else will prepare us properly. But there's been this break in we don't talk about you needing support. We don't talk about cool. So who's caring for you and your body and your needs as you show up for your baby? The bassinet, I will never understand what the perk is over a crib or another sleep surface.
Yeah.
If you guys know, fill me in, because I don't
know. That's what's so funny about all this SNOO controversy that I'm seeing. It's It's literally a $1,700 bassinet. Like,
Yep.
so if
That
you want to
makes
spend that
sense.
much on a bassinet, then cool. But
That makes promises it can't keep, and that probably will be recalled if it's not. Let's see if
for
it has
sure.
not been already. It's one of those things that like these product companies make really big claims about how much sleep they can get you. And like the $1,700, do you know how much postpartum doula care, overnight care you could get
I know.
for those same 5 weeks? That could be life altering, and it's this idea that like all of these products can fill in the gaps, and we've just totally lost touch with the community that we need. And I have to say, I was lucky enough to, although I don't know that I totally heeded her advice, but my husband is the only child. He has like a lot of cousins that he was very close with. So his cousin's wife, Anna Maria, who's from a different country, so that probably helped her have this better understanding of like community. She had babies a few years before me. And she said to me when I got pregnant with my first, one piece of advice only. And it was, Kaitlin, make sure you build a network of moms. Make sure you build a community, because there's only so many storybooks you can read before you lose your mind. That's what she said. Like lungs on a t-shirt somewhere. But I didn't like understand, because I was in this like, I'm pregnant, I'm going to stay home with my baby. Everything's going to be perfect, picture perfect and great, And I was just like, what do you mean you could get tired of reading storybooks? But like flash forward, like, yeah, I would flash forward to me moving from the city to where I am now on the island, and like desperately needing friends. I just like needed friends. So I would go to the library playroom. We have an amazing library in my town. And I would just like go. My kid did not need friends. He was perfectly happy playing in our living room, but I would like force women to be friends with me. And some of my closest friends now, believe it or not, are the people that my kid goes to school with. Because, they're people that I met in that playroom back when I was just desperate for adult human contact. So that is like, obviously, BeHerVillage, we're talking about something bigger, something about like bringing in professionals, caring for ourselves. But like, even at the very least, just to recognize that it's really like motherhood is not supposed to be done alone. It has never been done alone. This is not a thing. This like American experiment of having women sit in their houses and, walk alone in preserves, as one of my doula clients said to me once. She was really struggling and we met for coffee, and she's like, I just feel like we're all sitting in our boxes and walking around preserves alone. I hear ya, because there's this disconnect, and then there's social media, and it's like, we feel like we're failing, and yet it's actually that we're being failed. It's that we don't have these communities set up, and the communities in the village looks differently now than it did. Like community and village used to mean like, I don't know, I have like a vision of people like sitting around a fire, like peeling potatoes and preparing like the village meal or whatever, nursing each other's babies. Like that's like a throwback village. Huts. I was on a podcast and somebody like used the word huts, and I was like laughing, like, yeah, huts. That's what I have in my head. And that's not what the village is now. But the feeling of connection and community and validation and support, I can feel better about my parenthood experience literally from talking to another mom who goes, yep, this is really hard. I'm struggling too. That alone is so validating. And so even if you don't build a BeHerVillage registry, even if you don't get the care of professionals and family members and all of that, like just getting yourself in the room with other people who are going through this or have been through this is everything. I love, by the way, Natalie, that you just had you are in the midst of this with your 10-week-old. You're in it.
Honey, I'm in the midst.
How is this landing on you? I would love to hear, like, how are you doing? Like, pause the podcast. How are you doing? Are you okay?
I mean, I'm getting better. My birth episode just came out on Monday. So if you like want to go back and listen. But yeah, I mean, it's been like definitely harder this time around. Her sleeping is harder just because she won't take a bottle. So, just like breastfeeding around the clock. Turns out 2 weeks ago, I learned that she has some ties So I'm taking her to like all these chiropractor appointments, all of these speech and feeding clinics, and I'm preparing to go back to work, and I feel like I can't go back to work because she won't take a bottle. So, I mean, we can talk about this like off the record, but yeah, it's just been much harder this time around.
I'm really sorry to hear that, and I'm sorry. I've actually been there with my third. My third was my hardest, and it really caught me off guard because I thought, as many of us do, like, I've done this already, you know, like I'm a seasoned mom. I got tricked. I got tricked by my second baby, who was easy. My first baby was really hard. The second baby was a breeze. And I'm like, oh, look at me. I'm such a good mom. Oh, okay. Third baby, I mean, like the breastfeeding, she also had she had an illness thing that was like gastrointestinal. It was just an absolute mess. So I'm sorry to hear that it's such a struggle. And I'm glad that we're connected with each other. And if you want to talk off the record, happy to, like, it sounds like you have your support team lined up, but like you're a poster child for how the things are not getting you through that. The bottles, they're clearly not getting you through it. You need,
right? Every 20 bottles that I've tried.
Yeah.
I definitely thought of you as she was talking about, you know, when you're just in the thick of it and you don't know like where to turn. Because I even gave you like resources from when I, you know, well, I couldn't though, because I didn't like my resources. Like when my son had a tongue tie and I was like, do not go to this place. I've heard this place is good, but then you're spending all this time researching and you've already gone to like a couple specialists, and there's no central place just to go look. You're on Facebook and you're asking friends, and it's
a struggle. It's a struggle. Oh, Natalie, I'm sending you so much love, and I'm glad that you're you and that you're obviously lining yourself up with the support you need. But this is, and you know, part of it too is like you had no expectation for that being your experience, right? It's like
No, I didn't, because for me, my first Angel, oh my God, he was so easy. He would take every single bottle. He didn't care what the nipple looked like. He didn't care whether it was breast milk, formula, mix. He did not care. And then he would breastfeed during the day. And I was like, wow. I'm looking back and I'm like, wow, you are the easiest child ever. And that's why we have a second so soon after him. And then she's here and she's like, boom, I'm gonna show you up.
Yeah.
And I'm learning to love her so much, because she is the girl that I like need in my life, of like, I don't take bullshit from anyone. Like she's telling me already. So it's just a funny experience how different they can be. And you're right, the items aren't getting me through it. Like I don't even want to buy another bottle, because I don't want to spend another $1 on a bottle, because I know that I'm just going to look at it and laugh at it in the future. Like I've had to reach out to girlfriends being like, does this bottle work? Can I borrow that bottle? I'll give it back. And then I'll buy it if it works, but nothing works. You're so sweet, but I'm just laughing now.
Yeah. I want to share something that's like kind of vulnerable, and it's making me all too, you're really like triggering my own memories. Oh my goodness. I remember when it was the struggle, my daughter had something called FPIES.
Mm-hmm.
And it's where essentially she was like allergic to a bunch of foods that were in my breast milk, and she was projectile vomiting to the point of shock. So I had like this unmedicated, beautiful, fast, textbook, uncomplicated home birth. And we ended up at the ER with her at 11 days old. And my husband and I, we can still see where they put the IP in her. Like, it was such a traumatic experience. And I remember, I don't know how old she was, but she was way too old for me to be saying this. But I remember he like walked in a room with her, and she was like 8 months old, 10 months old, like on his hip. And I just looked at him and I regret having her. I just regret it. And it's so painful to say that, but it was so hard. It was so much harder than I expected. And like, what was I doing? Like ruining what I had. I had 2 perfect boys. Why did I have to go too far? You know, it was just, it was so much stress. It had overtaken my whole life. When you can't feed your baby, the way that like, it's just, or like, not that I couldn't feed her, but like just when there's problems with that basic function of getting nutrition into them, it just changes everything. And it prolonged this like postpartum struggle. You know, I think we all expect like a little bit of postpartum hardness. Like we've been told enough. But when you run into something that's sort of abnormal and that was different from your previous experience, it is so hard. And for her, it went on for well over a year. It was her second birthday. I cried on another podcast all about weaning her and figuring it out. But like, I'm sending you so much love, Natalie, because I looked at him and he winced when I said that. The horrible thing to say, I regret having her, and to say it out loud. And I remember he like winced, he like turned her away and was just like, don't say that. And I'm like, I'm just saying the truth. Like, I was empty, you know? Yeah. Oh my goodness. So many tears. So you're not alone. You know, like you're not alone in this. These things come up, and this, I like hearing that you're asking your girlfriends for bottles. Like, that's so beautiful. That's why we have a village, so we can exchange things.
Exactly. Instead of buying more. But our experiences are wildly similar. I had like the most perfect birth with her. It was easy, but like pregnancy and postpartum have been so hard. And we were in the hospital at 7 days old for a virus. And sure enough, it was just like, it was a very small virus, but in her body, who can't fight off anything, it was a big one. And so, you know, very similar experiences. And it's been just hard.
And sometimes it is. And like, there's not even a solution. It's just like, hey, it was hard for me. It's hard for somebody else right now. And I hope that you get connected and it sounds like you are connected with support. And I hope that you guys figure it out and figure out something that works, even if it's not a bottle. My husband would like bring her to birth because I was a doula. I was doing doula work, and she wouldn't take a bottle. She couldn't take a bottle. There were so many issues going on. So he would syringe feed her. She never took a bottle. He would syringe feed her like an ounce at a time. And then when it was like work within the birth, he would drive her to the hospital with the two boys in the car. And like, I would run out from the birth and nurse her in the front seat of the car. And then I would go back into the birth for like another 6 hours. It was really stressful, but I don't know if this is helpful too. I don't know if any of this is helpful, except that like we get through it. We are resilient. We can do hard things. Our babies are resilient. So it might not look anything like what you want it to look like, what you plan for it to look like, but everything happens for a reason, which is like the least comforting thing ever. But like sometimes these things happen to force us to sort of like shift something and slow down or change something. Like I don't know why, but there's something in there. And I hope that you can find a way for this path that you're on with her right now to feel good or to have meaning at some point.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Her smiles are like lighting up my like days right now. So that feels really good. But I'm like, maybe I'll try syringe feeding, because I'm trying every other way to feed her a bottle so she can go to daycare. So because our daycare lady is an angel, and I don't want her to get like the brunt that my husband and I get from trying to feed her a bottle.
That's fun.
Have you, this is like a stupid question, but like, have you had an IBCLC come or a lactation consultant come and help you with this?
Yeah. So there's something here in St. Louis called ABL. It's B in French. Anyway, I went to them on Monday, and she's a speech language pathologist plus an IBCLC.
Oh, that's awesome.
And she has done amazing, just like the first day. But we're not near where we need to be.
No, it's a whole process. Process. It sounds like you've lined up your team, and I know it's all going to work out, because it always does.
Yeah. Well, thankfully, like Liz is the one who told me about them. Otherwise, I would have had no idea about them.
That's amazing.
I'm making my list of resources because I'm in doula training right now. So I'm just gathering all everything that I can
That's it.
too.
Yeah.
But yeah, the syringe feeding, it's funny you say that because I actually did syringe feed Arthur. We were
really?
triple feeding, and I remember them being like, the midwives being like, don't give him a bottle yet because you need to establish breastfeeding, but you can do syringe feeding and blah, blah, blah. And we would fill up like 5 syringes and have them like on a plate while I'd be pumping. And oh my God, it was crazy. But yeah, that is something you should try.
It's on
Arthur
the
did
list.
well with that. Yeah.
It's on the list. We're going to try every.
Yeah.
Spoon feeding,
Last night-
cup feeding.
And there's like a way to do it. Like you have to like put it into like the pocket of their mouth because you can't just squirt it. You're going to choke the kid. So like,
Yeah.
don't just take my advice. Go watch a YouTube video or call your
Well, like yesterday, my husband was home like before our 2-year-old got home, and we were kind of just like tag teaming back and forth. I went on a walk to make sure that he got his like alone time trying to feed her a bottle, because like that's a big part of it. And anyway, he left, and I have both kids on my own, and my son is watching cartoons, and she's kind of like starting to like realize what's going on. And so I had her in her Bjorn. And I'm like lifting her up, and I'm coming around behind her where she can't even see me and trying to feed her a bottle. Because I read on Facebook that like somebody got success that way. I'm like, okay, I'm trying that. And then I text my husband. It kind of worked. We're onto something.
I love that. And just to like, you were saying such beautiful things about her. Like, my baby's never took a pacifier. You know why? Because these kids are smart. Like, she doesn't want a bottle. She's being selective. She has a very high standard. So like even reframing it can feel better than like we're failing. It's like, no, this chick knows what she needs. She's demanding the very best, which is you.
That's thanks. Well, that's actually like hilarious because on my birth podcast, I told a friend she's very demanding, and then I just felt like immense guilt. Like, I don't want to call her that. It's not a fun word. So my girlfriend ended up sending me like this 5 kinds of kids, babies. And my son, angel baby through and through, ate, slept, pooped like a champ. Everything was easy peasy. And then and she's like, maybe you can look at her as your spirited baby. And I'm like, that's all I've been calling her now. She's my spirited baby.
Yeah. Oh, these kids just like are who they are. I'm curious for you guys because I don't know if this is how it is for you, but like my children's personalities and their births and pregnancies are so like connected, like the way that they are. Just like Annabelle, the baby that had the most issues, and even like the issues aside, like her power, her force that she comes into this world with. Anyone who knows her, she's like a performer. She just demands everyone's attention. We prepared for this home birth, and it was like the water baby, like doesn't even know they've been born, and she like hit the air screaming. She absolutely knew she was born. She was pissed about it. Like it's an interesting reflection that their births and who they are. It's so early on that we sort of get to know these little creatures that are often different from us. I had this misconception that babies are blank slates that I could like then insert what I would like. I'm not going to do this. You're sitting, and it's like, oh no, you're going to do whatever it takes to raise this kid, and you're going to hang on, and you're going to grow as rapidly as they're growing. You're going to hope that everybody is a functional adult at the end of it. It's so different from what I expected it to be.
Yeah. Everyone's the perfect parent until they become a parent.
Exactly.
I love that. Side note, friends, I might just turn off my camera and mute you guys just for a little, or mute myself because she's waking up. So
okay,
just letting you know. But keep going. I love this.
Awesome. I'm having so much fun.
Yeah, I saw a question on here that I wanted to ask. Where did that go? Oh yeah. So have you heard from like mothers who use the service and have like, some success stories or anything?
Oh my goodness. The mothers who talk to us, it's the best part because they're not like they're very intentional. They're using us with intention. They're using their BeHerVillage registry to get care for themselves. And that care is life altering, which I know is like kind of a big thing to say, but I feel like our conversation just sort of captured exactly how life altering it can be to go into your birth knowing you'll be supported, to navigate this postpartum time that is almost always full of surprises, to have people to lean on, to have a team, to have someone to call, to have someone to support you as you navigate that is just, it changes the entire experience. And so, yeah, one of the people we actually got on a Zoom call with, like a lot of people will write in and tell us, that it's great, that they wish they had it, that they, they wish everyone knew about it. Or what we hear a lot is like, I didn't even know this existed. I wish I knew this existed. Well, it didn't exist for most of us when we had our babies. But one of them, her name was Deja, and she was right outside Atlanta, Georgia. And she got on this call with us. And my colleague and I both started like just trying to not weep in happiness and joy. She was talking about how her first birth, it was so stressful to like try to line everything up and all the funds like she needed to pay for her doula and her midwife. And there was just this like this financial stress that moved through her whole experience with her. And when she used her BeHerVillage registry with her second baby, she was just sitting there. She was about to give birth and was like, I just feel joyful. I feel excited to give birth. I feel so well prepared. The money was funded by my community. I feel so supported by my community. And now I can go into this time knowing I'm cared for. And that is just, it's sort of everything. So yeah, we hear the great things, but the other thing to know, just for anyone who's listening, is that we didn't build this thing and then put it out there. Like we did, we had to start somewhere, but the way that we're growing BeHerVillage is by building it alongside people. So we asked our registrants and our mamas, like, hey, how is this for you? What's working? What's not working? We buy gifts on BeHerVillage. If someone registers, like Janelle, who does our social media and is just like my soul friend, and I was her doula, and she's having a second baby. And so I bought her gift on BeHerVillage. It's something that we use and we constantly are trying to improve and make it better. So people are happy with it, but like, it's actually the people that reach out and say, hey, I was really hoping that this thing would exist on it. That's how we're improving it along the way, because sometimes people get this impression when they go to our website, because it is a very beautiful website, they get this impression that we're like Target, that like major corporation. And I'm like, it's 3 of us, like 3.5 of us, if you include Janelle, who's working part-time on it. Like, it's 3.5 of us just showing up every day to make this shift happen. And so, yeah, we have really big ideas and a really small team, and we value every single person that talks about us to a friend, that leaves us a review, that shares us with somebody. And like, for both of you, like this being on this podcast is impactful for us. We don't market. We don't have a marketing budget. We don't like, this is what we're doing. This is our marketing. Like, just emailing people and being like, yeah. Like it's a very like mom driven movement and birth worker and doula driven movement that we're building. So part of it is like, yeah, people are excited about us because that's the only way we're growing. And it's when we grow that we know we're onto something. Yeah. So I hope that answers the question.
Yeah.
That's the best way I know how to give it.
Yeah, it's hard because when you're a new mom, you don't know what you're missing. Like, if you're having trouble breastfeeding, I didn't know what an IBCLC was, and like when I was still, even like a year after having my baby, still kind of, peeing a little when I laugh. I didn't know what pelvic floor therapy was. It's just like all these things, but it's really cool that they're kind of all in one place on your website. So is it like you can kind of browse like services in your area?
Well, that's exactly what it is. And part of it is we wanted to make sure this was a place that You could come without having any idea what you need or what's available to you. You could come with just a little bit of curiosity and you can poke around. We have a whole shopping guide anyone can use, and you put in your zip code or your town that you're in, and it populates with people in your area. And if we don't have people in your area, and even if we do, quite honestly, you can book a call with us. And with us, I mean me, it's me. But you can book a call with us. We'll help get you connected to people in your area. Excuse me. I'm sorry, guys. Because really, like, we need to make it really easy for people to find support. We're making it easy to find the birth workers. And that's part of actually something I'd like to speak to. If you're a birth worker, if you're a doula, if you're someone who's caring for parents, you should be on BeHerVillage, because that's what we're doing. We're making shopping for birth and postpartum care as easy as shopping for diapers and strollers and car seats. And so it's really easy to come and join our platform.
It makes sense.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna when I get my certificate and everything, I'm gonna put my services on there.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say, Liz.
Absolutely. And here's the other thing that we're doing. I was just on, literally right before this, I was on a holistic marketing podcast. And so I'm like, this is sort of fresh in my mind. The other thing we're doing is we're helping birth workers break into the $12 billion baby industry, because it kind of goes two ways. Like, we need to have parents registering. We need to have parents like understanding this value and having this tool to do it. And we have that. That's live. We've had $141,000 gifted on BeHerVillage. Like, that is up and running. But the other part of it, the way that we grow this to be bigger, is we help doulas, we help lactation consultants, we help pelvic floor therapists and childbirth educators and everybody who's caring for mothers to talk about themselves as the gift. And it's so much more than just putting a gift card on your website. It's so much more than just saying, buy me as a Mother's Day gift, or I'm a great baby shower gift. It's so much bigger than that, because the thing is, when you're trying to tap into the gift space, you have to do what the retailers do, right? And what do? They make their items priced at gift size price points, $25, $50, $75, $100, and so on. They have clear indications to the people who are buying it why it's a great gift, what the features are, and how it will impact the life of the person that has it. They make it really easy to shop for them, and they make it really easy to gift these things. And so part of what we're doing with BeHerVillage is we've created a birth worker coalition where, in addition to joining our platform for free, you can come and for like a few bucks a month, you can join our meetings and learn how to add gifting to your business. And you can learn how to speak to gift buyers, and you can learn how to make your products or your services into sort of like a baby shower product that someone would purchase. And so we're doing that every single month in our coalition. It's so exciting because, like, I'm a person who's a really big believer in, like, talking about things is huge and important. We should talk about the problems facing mothers more. We should talk about sort of revolutionizing the baby industry more, but we also need action. And I really believe that each one of us can take a small action and have this huge impact. And so we have birth workers across the country that every month are doing challenges within our coalition to bring gift dollars into their business to help the people in their community get their support as a baby shower gift. And so it's this momentum that we're building together that's really going to be part of that, like, tipping point that is coming. I can feel it coming. This tipping point of, like, yeah, we didn't talk about support as a gift like 3 years ago. That wasn't a thing, right? And since BeHerVillage has launched, Baby List has changed. All these websites are adding these support sort of areas onto their site. They're not doing it as well as we're doing it. They're like giving you a place for your PayPal link, but they're recognizing that there's a shift happening, that parents and moms want care in a way that they have maybe not wanted before or recognized the need for. And it's becoming Like, this is part of this generation, right? Like, you have Elise Myers, who I'm a huge fan of, by the way, who's like talking about rest, like do less. Like we deserve rest. And it's really, really cool to sort of like, to just be part of that and to have this offering and to be walking birth workers towards that, so that we can reach more people.
That's awesome. I'm so glad I connected with you.
Yeah, me too. And like, as soon as you're ready, let me know. I will hook you up.
I will. Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, I'm definitely texting my girlfriend this and like that way. Because she even texted me just the other day, like on walking into a prenatal massage. And I'm like, oh, I love that for you. I'm so happy you're doing that. Take care of yourself.
Yeah. Oh, it's so good. It's so good.
Yeah. Wow. Thank you so much. I mean, yeah, this has been awesome talking to you and learning all about this.
Well, thank you so much. I'm really grateful for both of you. This was so much fun. And, you know, this is the work. This is what we have to do. We just have to like continue supporting each other and speaking what we want into existence. I'm a big fan of that. Like you want the world to look a certain way. You speak it into existence. You take actionable steps, aligned action, right? And like, we're going to do this thing and the world will look different when our babies have their babies. And it's going to be a beautiful thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's so true. I always just think like, I hope that I'm in a place and physically able and mentally and emotionally able just to like spend like weeks or months with my daughter or with my son when they have their own babies. Like I hope I can be there for them.
I hope so too. I really do. That's such a beautiful thought. I think about the same thing. But then I'm also like, well, how will I travel the world endlessly and also be there for all my kids' kids? I don't know. What a kid problem to have in my imaginary retirement.
What's your website? How do people connect with you?
Yeah. So for birth workers, for registrants, for anyone who wants to be involved, go to BeHerVillage.com. It's BeHer village.com. And you can click the Get Started button and we'll just walk you through everything. It's really, really easy. It's free to use. If you want to make a registry, if you want to get funds, you get every dollar into your account. For birth workers, it's free to make an account and sign up and add your services. It's just, we're making it as easy as possible for everyone to interact with us. So definitely go to the website. You can also find us on Instagram at BeHerVillage. I am in the messages. I'm in the stories. I'm the one. We don't have a social media person. It's literally me. So I told you we're a very small team. So I would love to hear from you guys. Anyone who wants to be in touch. This is how we're building it. One person, one baby registry, one baby gift at a time. And if you're excited about our mission and you like what you're hearing and you want to be involved, I would love to hear from you.
Awesome.
I just love
Thank
the
you
passion
so
in
much.
your voice.
Yeah.
Thank you both so much. This has been the best. And Natalie, I'm wishing you, I know it's all going to be great. And I'm so glad I got a little peek at your little one as she joined the call briefly.
Yes.
Yeah. And you're just doing such important work. And I'm really grateful to both of you.
Thank you. You too. Here's a little peek for you.
Oh,
she's so sweet.
so happy.
Yes.
It's all going to be okay.
Yeah.
It really is.
Exactly.
Although in my hardest moments, what we've started saying is it's all going to be okay. Probably. It's really, who knows? It's probably all going to be okay.
I love that.
Exactly. Yeah. I know. And then like, I think like, she's 2 months now. She'll be 3 months soon. Like in 9 months, I'm going to look back at this and I'm just going to be like, wait, that all happened. And like, she doesn't even need a bottle at that point. So we'll be fine.
Yeah. It's all going to work out. It's just, it's hard when you're right in it. And it feels like the biggest thing, especially when it comes to feeding stuff, because there's so many like jobs we have as parents. And every year that my kids get older, those jobs sort of get bigger and feel more overwhelming. But like, they just get worse. No, but like in the beginning, it's feeding them. Like our job is to feed them
Yeah.
and make sure they grow. And when there's
Yeah.
stress around that and it's not working perfectly, it can feel like the only thing, because it kind of is the only thing. So definitely don't diminish, like if that makes you feel better, good, but don't let it diminish how you're feeling now. Like it's okay to feel like it's a big deal, right? Because it is.
Thank you. That really means a lot because I like feel like it's all I talk about. I feel like Liz, you know everything that's going on day by day. Yeah, it does feel like the biggest thing. And, sure enough, I learned that she's allergic to eggs. And I'm like, oh, I've been having eggs every day since she was born. And now I'm like immediately seeing a difference from her. Like, oh, if I just knew that, 8 weeks ago.
Yeah. It's every day. It's a new day. It sounds like she's turning the corner in a really big way, though. It sounds like
It does.
Some of the hardest parts.
But then again, honey, I I'm turning a corner, and then I am one step forward, 3 steps back, 2 steps forward, 5 steps back. Like that's just how it's been feeling. Because I'm feeling so hopeful, and then I'm like, and I'm not, and then I am, and then I'm not.
Yes. It is. It's really hard. That's maybe one of the hardest parts. The non-linear progress.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
much like labor, it could be the same, right? It's like non-linear, and then the postpartum also non-linear for some of us. And I just feel like it's also a really common experience to have one really awesome baby that tricks you into having a bunch more babies that are just as awesome but not as easy.
Yes, yeah, that was my son. He tricked me. Well, thank you so much again.
Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks so much, Kaitlin. Hope you have a great rest of your day, and thanks for being so flexible.
Of course, it's my pleasure. Bye.
Bye.